Hey guys, here to get into my other favorite Darren Aronofsky film, The Wrestler, which came out in the year 2008. Very similar formula to Black Swan, but this is like a masculine version about just a man who's just very passionate about a thing that's his ultimate failure. So it's just a very personal character study of a man's just downfall. Yet he sticks with what he loves to the end. It was very much his reminiscent of just passion, and you can tell this is very much like an '80s, like almost like the dark side of an '80s outlook. You could say in a lot of ways. Just feeling like the ultimate star during very something that's very dark and ultimately kind of always throw back in your face to the delusional thing, but you just keep going anyways because the passion's that strong, and it's just a really perfect kind of character study with Randy the Ram. You know, you just kind of get this Mickey Rourke is his big performance. You know, and he's one of those interesting actors because it turns out he was offered a lot of big roles from a lot of big directors that he turned down that turned out to be big hits. So I feel like there is almost something in itself of a bit of a tragedy to that living with Mickey Rourke, like kind of being extremely close to something big but not quite getting there. So the wrestler is kind of his expression of all that, just all the dark places that Randy kind of takes you through, and it's just in this case he's like a sport wrestling. It's all he's got. So he puts himself through all kinds of self destruction and pain whenever he's behind. You know, it reminds me a lot of like the film Raging Bull by Martin Scorsese, where it's just very intense. They're very close up. It always feels raw, and it just feels like something's about to explode because it's just wildly unfulfilled when he's off the platform of what he loves, basically. Um, it's one of the best character studies ever made because it's a really subtle kind of film, and Mickey, and again, it's just like when Darren Aronofsky was just increasingly becoming more humanistic within his intensely dark character studies, and it feels like this and Black Swan are his best moments of that. And Mother's a great one too, one of my favorites. So this is just a really interesting kind of film all around where emotions are just high at stake, and it's very heart wrenching. Like it's very much a very heart wrenching film that kind of defines where I think like a lot of I don't know, yeah, just a lot of where a lot of people have found heartbreak and failure in themselves, like particularly from this lens of the 2000s. So it's very personal and relatable what it hones in on, which is just kind of feeling like your life's kind of going to ridiculous places and things, and it can be surreal and feel lame. Even this is like a depiction of all that and the headspace that a person goes through when he's feeling this way. It's just very gritty, you know. It's very realistic kind of film altogether. Um, yeah, I've never seen anything quite like it. So I highly recommend. This is a very unique kind of modern masterpiece on rawness and being in a very raw, very intense kind of state of mind from start to finish.